Welcome back to The Lead. 3 hours. That's how long a gunman laid siege to the Pulse nightclub before a police SWAT team smashed into the club and freed those terrified hostages still inside who were still alive. Let's bring in a group of national security and law enforcement experts to talk about this all. Retired NYPD Detective Harry Houck, former top CIA and FBI official Phil Mudd, and former Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Juliette Kayyem. Obviously, let me say again, the only person responsible for the carnage was this evil Islamic terrorist. He is the only person responsible, but as journalists were asking about what might have been done differently, what could be done, what lessons we can learn. Juliette, do you think police should have breached the club sooner?
I think I can't answer that question. I think we don't know. What we don't know is what situational awareness did they have at the time they decided to wait. If you are a terrorism expert, you know these guys often do not work alone, and they did not know if he had a detonator or a detonation device that would have killed 200 people. And so all of these will become known over time, and I'm confident that we will have an understanding. But right now, they saved a lot of lives, and that's sort of where I'm focused on right now.
Okay, fair enough. Phil, the FBI had interviewed the Orlando terrorist 3 times before, and they could not predict he would do something like this. Apparently, one of these instances was a sting operation, and he didn't take the bait. Do you find any of this troubling?
No, I don't, because you've got to look at this from a different direction. We're taking this from the individual and saying, should we have done more? Let's look at this from the opposite optic. You're dealing with hundreds or thousands of cases annually. Some of those cases are much higher profile. For example, attempted communication with ISIS, people returning from the battlefield in Syria, people attempting to travel to Turkey. This guy was saying things that were suspicious. He didn't appear to have co-conspirators. If you put him in that big hopper, Jake, with all those other cases, I think you could get a sense of how the FBI prioritized this and put him down on the list.
Harry, I want you to take a listen to something Hillary Clinton said today in response to the Orlando attack.
Right. The FBI is watching you. For suspected terrorist links, you shouldn't be able to just go buy a gun with no questions asked.
What do you think about that policy? If somebody is on the terror watch list, if somebody is on the no-fly list, should they be prohibited from purchasing a firearm?
Heck yes. I mean, I applaud that speech that she gave, and I'm not a Hillary fan, but I thought her speech was very good. There shouldn't be any reason why. In the 213 investigation, this guy admitted he wanted to be a jihadi. Okay, so the FBI had known that, but they had to conduct an investigation, a background investigation on this guy, and they came up with nothing. All right, that's our laws. All right, there's nothing we can do here. So in other words, then he probably could not be put on any kind of a list at that time. Now, Senator Feinstein said that there is a bill that she's trying to get passed in Congress regarding this. This is something we need to take a look at. All right, there's no reason why we, as somebody who had been investigated by the FBI for possible terrorism that made statements like that, should be able to be put on a no-fly, no-gun-buy list, you know, to protect the American people. Very interesting. And for those who are not familiar with former Detective Houck, he's not exactly a bleeding heart liberal, I would just like to point out, in terms of that opinion shared. Phil, let me ask you, when the terrorist spoke to police during the siege, he pledged loyalty to ISIS. You're skeptical. Why?
I am. Well, first of all, the investigators have talked about him having interest in a variety of groups, some of which are not only in competition, they're killing each other. It's not clear to me he understood the ideology of these groups. The second point, Jake, is more significant, and that is we think of ISIS as an ideology. I don't. I think of it not like Al-Qaeda, but like its own organization. It's an excuse. Anybody who's angry with gays, angry with the West, angry with nightclubs, says, I'm angry about something, who gives me the validation, the justification to act? So I don't see this necessarily as a straightforward case of terrorism like we would have seen 10 years ago with Al-Qaeda.
All right, Phil, Juliette, Harry Houck, thank you so much. Appreciate it, one and all.